New look DC United. Wayne Rooney in. Taxi Fontas in. Ravel Morrison in. Miguel Berry
Taxi
in.
Font. Taxi Fontas came in like at the start of the season.
I know, but I'm talking about new, like completely new, right? Lots of movement in DC under Wayne Rooney, including Gressel out. Where is this going? What is he doing? What's Wayne in the front office doing?
They're backing him. That's certainly what they're doing. I mean, you don't bring in Ravel Morrison if you're not backing Wayne Rooney. That guy is only here because Wayne Rooney came here to coach. And because he played so well under Rooney when he was at Derby.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm not going to say so well because I don't follow Derby enough to really know that for sure. But
luckily, our friends at Transfer Market do. Let me take a look.
Or Corey, which sneak peek, we might be talking to him soon about this.
We do. We need to bring him back in and have a whole
for sure, for sure. We do. We need the inside scoop. What's to come? Because DC is definitely backing Wayne here. I wonder if it was his call at all about Gressel. I wonder if he came in and was like, "Yeah, I have an idea for right back already. Let's move on from Gressel."
Yeah, no, I
mean that's a tough call to make, to be honest. In my opinion, Gressel is very tough to replace. I mean, he could play all over the field and he brings quality.
But here's the thing, right? Wayne Rooney looks at this team, a DC United side, right? Currently, 41 goals conceded, last place on pace for the Wooden Spoon last year. Missed out by conceding 54 goals. That is on pace with a Chicago team, Inter Miami, teams in that nature. 2020, don't really want to look too far into it, but conceded 41 goals in 21 games. Then you look at 2019, which I think is when they made the playoffs, and that was when they were at 38. The team for the last 3 seasons has been leaking goals. Julian Gressel, phenomenal attacking wingback. One of the best in the league, maybe one of the best in league history. I don't know enough about. We've talked about how the attacking wingback has developed and whatever, right? I think Wayne Rooney is focusing on a defensively sound team that he can then work forward to individual playmakers, right? So you got Taxi Fontas, you have Manuel Rodriguez, who just came in. You have Miguel Berry, who can provide a second option up top. And now you got Ravel Morrison. Ravel Morrison, 29 years of age, a Jamaican international. Currently, he was one of those English guys who made the switch over. Give you some stats here. 13 goals, 9 assists in the championship. However, in his last season, I believe we'll get more details on this if Corey stops by. Yeah, he was 4-4, 36 games to over 2,000 minutes. Wayne knows this guy better than anybody knows this guy. He revitalized what he could do. I'm very, very interested to see what he does when he comes in. There were rumors that Jesse Lingard also might have been on, or one or the other might have been on their way. I think this is a better transfer than Jesse Lingard. Wayne knows what he gets by bringing Morrison in. Wayne knows how to build around Ravel Morrison, what his strengths are and how he can succeed. And now he's got the backing of a board that's ready to give him complete help. I think Ravel Morrison comes in and is an absolute stud. Maybe not this season, right? The first half MLS adjustment, right? Where you bring somebody in midseason usually needs half a season to adjust, and then he gets and hits the ground running. By next season, I think he's maybe, and this might be a stretch, top 5 attacking midfielder in the league.
Save it for your bold predictions, my friend. Save it for the bold predictions. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think you should also asterisk your statement on Morrison compared to Lingard, just by mentioning that. And I'm speaking on your behalf here because I think this is how you feel as well, that he's not a better player than Lingard. But when you have a salary cap in MLS Morrison was the smarter move for the salary cap than going and breaking the bank to bring in Lingard.
So when I made that comment, it was less about ability and more about fit to the team.
Sure.
I think this is better.
And
yeah, this is better
money-wise.
for Wayne to bring in than bring Jesse in. That was kind of where I was going with that. So
I have a take. I have a take on.
I would love to hear your take. Actually, there's nothing I'd love more than to.
Okay, good. I'm glad, because I was going to tell you anyway whether you wanted to hear it or not. But my thinking is maybe you're right. Maybe he wants to just kind of revamp the back line. But I'm looking at the DC United team right now, and I'm not seeing a lot of value guys here. Maybe they traded Julian Gressel to raise some money so that Wayne can bring in the guys that he wants to bring in.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now, and I just don't see a lot of guys that would be able to garner much value within the league. Like, if I saw Russell Canals get a move right now, I'd be 100% convinced that they're just trying to rack up money so that Wayne can bring in the team he wants.
Sure.
That's kind of my thoughts on the Gressel trade.
Very much like, and I only go back because they're the greatest team in the league. Red Bull selling on Brian White over Tom Barlow, right? Brian White, clearly the better striker, clearly better potential, and a better ability. But Tom Barlow had no value in trade. And when they were trying to build up funds to bring in players like Marquinhos, for example, or make Carlos Cornell permanent, right? Now, again, that transfer was not directly for that move, but they knew what they were trying to do in the long run, right? You have to sell the players that have value, right? You're not going to go in and be like, okay, guys, John Kempen, time to send him on his way, right? He's your third string goalkeeper. He's not getting anything out of it. And you also want to hold enough capital, right? You're not going to send Moises Nyman out. You're not going to send Chris Durkin out. You're not sending Donovan Pines out, right? Those players are going to stick around because you need them to build, future value. So it's a tough one, tough decision you had to make, but it was the correct decision to make, I think. So one quick question before we move on, right? We'll talk about kind of what the shape would look like now with these moves in. There's also rumors, and I don't know what, before we do that they were also linked to, and again, I don't know the extent of this, but Tyler Miller from Minnesota was also linked to the DC sphere. So let's assume Tyler Miller comes in, right? You're looking at Tyler Miller, back for Brandon Heinzeke, Donovan Pines, Sammy Guedry, because Brad Smith is hurt all year, and either Andy Nahar or Chris Odiatson, right? So clearly, the outside wingbacks are a place of concern. They would need to work on.
You don't like Andy Nahar? Unless they play him as a center back, which I think they did sometimes last year.
Right. He didn't. Again, I'm thinking about Wayne Rooney trying to solidify this back line, right? Andy Nahar, great going forward. I think he's a good defender too. I don't watch enough DC to know. One of these days, I'm going to actually get time and just sit and watch teams play. Then we're looking at a defensive mid set of Chris Durkin, Moises Nyman, with maybe Ravel Morrison in front of them. So that'd be your midfield three. Martin Rodriguez on one side.
No Russell Canals for you? You could say no.
Yeah. It's probably a rotation between the three of them. They've been subpar all season. So all spots are up.
Everybody's been, outside of Taxi, everybody's been subpar all season.
Correct. So everything's up for grabs except for these spots. Ravel Morrison in attacking mid with Martin Rodriguez on one side, Taxi up top, or even what they could do is Taxi out wide with Ola Kamara up top. Not Ola Kamara, I'm sorry. Miguel Berry. Right, so you could do a three. Yeah, you could do a three there. So because Taxi can play out on the wing if you need him to. Rodriguez can play left or right wing. And again, this is all just all transfer market. We'll see what Wayne does. His favored formation, Derby. Last season, Wayne Rooney's favored formation. Oh, you know what we can do? We can go to whoscored.com for this. Fill the air. What do you got? Thoughts?
My thoughts?
Yeah, your thoughts.
I got no idea. I didn't watch Derby.
No. What are your thoughts on some of the moves, the shapes? Would you replace anybody?
Hold on, let me go back to their roster again.
This is what you guys come here for.
Well,
3 minutes of dead air.
I'm cutting it out. I'm cutting it out. Relax.
3 minutes
Don't
of
worry
dead
about
air.
it. Don't worry about it.
The video doesn't. Some of the videos
Yeah,
get
nobody
banged.
watches. Nobody watches the YouTube.
No, YouTube bangs. Last episode got like 26 views.
Yeah, and our John Bush episode got 136. So like, also transfer market saying there's a rumor of Luis Suarez to DC United. Although I think I saw something recently that he's going to like Nacional or something.
Yeah, he just got confirmed there.
I don't think I would change anything. Honestly, team feels a little thin. I think they could use a little bit more depth. Just like looking at the back line for sure.
Yeah. 4-2-3-1 shape. So that's what you would look at in DC as well. So that my prediction was pretty spot on because I'm great at what I do.
I don't know. They don't have great winger options though. Unless I know you're talking about converting attackers to wingers.
Well,
but
we don't know what Martin Rodriguez brings. We know that Taxi can play out wide if he needs to, and that actually might be a better spot for him to create some chances. You don't know.
But then that's it. That's the winger depth. That's all the winger depth you got.
Oh, well, depth, yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not good. Yeah, Kamari Smith.
You two players that can play out on the wing. You're not like you're risking it playing with a winger formation.
Wayne Rooney isn't going to turn this around overnight. This is not
No, of course not. Of course not.
Yeah, this is not we're going to bring you in, give you X amount of money, sign 4 players that you know, and take us to the playoffs. This is a 4-year-long issue he has to fix. So I think Ravel Morrison's a good start. He needs to build off of that. And I think you'll see a much heavier English influence now that he's there. And I'll be very, very interested to see who's next, right? Do you see maybe some younger English kids coming over from academies saying, "Hey, come play for Wayne Rooney," right? Think of some of the the Man City kids that came over in the first year of NYC. Can you grab somebody from the Man City, Man United Academy or the Everton Academy, whatever, right? That'd be pretty interesting to see.
I mean, it's not like we haven't had that chance in the past, though. I mean, you could have said the same thing about England and be like, "Hey, come play for Patrick Vieira in NYC. Like, you can come live in New York City and play under Patrick Vieira." But like, how many Man City youth kids were they grabbing?
That's fair. I think more people would know Wayne Rooney though in England.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I
think
plenty of people know who Patrick Vieira is.
I don't disagree, but right, it's a different type of pull. English kids grew up idolizing Wayne Rooney. Patrick Vieira was great, but nobody idolizes the holding mid.
I'm not an English kid, so I can't speak on behalf of anyone. Can't say.
We have room for one more.
I have a question for you. I think you'll like this question.
Fine.
What do you have to say to the people who criticize Wayne Rooney for turning down a potential job in England to come and coach for DC United?
Interesting. I think so. He actually addressed this himself, right? He goes, "Listen, everybody wants to coach in the Premier League. Everybody wants to coach a national team, but you have to earn your stripes. You have to learn your craft. This is a really good place to do that." And he's not wrong, right? In the same way that we are building players, right? We're taking youth players and teaching them their craft and selling them on. Coaches follow the same path, right? Jesse Marsh learned his path through Red Bull, right? He went over to Europe, learned it, implemented it back in the United States. People keep talking about how MLS is such a low risk league. To a sense, they're not wrong, right? But because it's such a low risk league, people like Wayne Rooney, Jesse Marsh, just on the coaching side of things, those people can come over, try their craft, fail, and it's okay, right? We don't have I want to think of the right word for this. We don't have the culture. The culture is the word that I'm looking for. The fan culture, where if you are a manager that's failing, our fans don't revolt, right? Never once have I seen a team lose their mind because they were, terrible. It's kind of just like, haha, wow, we haven't scored a goal in 4 years.
Well, because there's always next year.
Right, because there's always next year. So this is a great place for him to learn what style he likes to play with a budget where he can go buy players, right? He couldn't do any of that at Derby. So now he's got a budget where he can buy players. He's got a system that will allow him to be experimental. He'll figure out what he likes to do, and then somebody will come approach him and say, hey, we like what you're doing, right? If he can take DC from the bottom of the East, make them a playoff team in 2 years.
Not like he can make them worse,
Right, exactly. But if you can make them that success, okay, now you've shown that, right? And now I think about it. Think about Football Manager, right? Every time you apply for a job, it's like, oh, you don't have experience doing this or this or this. Well, now he's going to get that experience, and people are going to look for it. It's a very good move for him to have longevity in a career. Yes, if he wanted to go coach, be an assistant for Everton, or even be a head coach at some other League One or Championship or League Two or whatever, the odds of him having a longer coaching career are much shorter than if he does what he's doing now, right? This is the low risk is going to allow him to be successful long term. I think it's a great move.
It's a really good point that I never thought of before. It's about the
you're not thinking of.
Did I ask for your intake there? No, I think it's a good point that I think a lot of people are glossing over when talking about this, is the fact that he can come here, try stuff out as a coach, fail, and totally be fine. Because if he moves to, let's just say, I don't even think there were rumors with this, but let's just say he moves to like a Nottingham Forest or something, right? And he tries some new coaching stuff out, seeing as how this is only his second head coaching job, and he fails. Now this team goes right back down to the championship, and that's if he manages to keep his job for the full season.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he can come here to DC, a place that he's familiar with, already has really good value with the fans. He can come in here, try something out, fail, and guess what? They're still in the top league the next season. That's one of the benefits of not having Pro-Rel. Not saying I'm not going to go down a whole Pro-Rel conversation. Obviously, there's benefits, positives and negatives too. I know we can. We got 6 hours. There's positives and negatives to having and not having Pro-Rel. But I think one of the positives from a coaching perspective is that you can try things out and not necessarily risk losing your job immediately. So I completely agree with you on that point. So I think I have no disagreements. I think it's a good move for him. A lot of other coaches have been, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's been a few other coaches that have come here, been successful, moved on. I mean, look at Patrick Vieira. He's coaching in the Premier League right now with Crystal Palace. He looked good too. And he got he started out here with NYC. So
correct. That's a great comparison, right? Comes in, I don't remember where he was before that. I think he was an assistant somewhere. Patrick Vieira coaching, right? But he didn't even make the full jump, right? Team managed, yeah. So he was a part of the development squad for Man City, then moved to NYC, then moved to Nice. He didn't even jump straight to the Premier League, right? He went to a lower top 5 league and was successful, and then made the jump back to the Premier League. you can't. Everybody thinks it's just like FIFA. I'm just going to click this button and I'm going to go manage this team, and they're going to give me unlimited. It doesn't work that way. You have to be good at what you do. And I think this is a really good mindset to approach. It's a very mature mindset from a former player, I think.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see players all the time look at, oh, look, I'm retired. I'm going to do this, buy all this stuff, get all this money, whatever, right? This is I need to have a career after football. I'm going to go and make sure that I can have the best career possible by practicing just like I have been as a player. I think it's great. I'm a big fan.
I want to use this guy as like an opposite example. And it sucks to talk about it because I think he's amazing. He's one of the best players ever for my favorite team. But go look at Frank Lampard and watch how he jumped from Derby straight to Chelsea. And it was clear that he was not ready for it. And now, because of that, he took a step down and he went to Everton in a relegation battle. Don't give me the look.
Excuse me?
Yeah. He was fighting relegation last season. It's going to be big to see how he does this season with Everton, but the short stint of Frank's coaching career so far has not been too great, outside of a little bit of time at Derby where he got them into the playoffs. So I think this is the right move from Wayne Rooney to not jump at the opportunity to just go to the highest stature team and get the most like fame or try to get the most fame and glory like as soon as possible. He's taking his time. He's making sure that he like can establish himself as a good coach, practice what he needs to practice in terms of being a head coach. And then when he's ready, then he goes and moves for that Frank Lampard Chelsea-esque job.
Spoiler alert, Everton are winning the Prem.
Yeah, okay. You just lost 4-0 to Minnesota, and you're going to tell me you're winning the Prem?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Have fun with that one.
Stop. I didn't mean the Prem. I meant the championship next year. Stop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in 2 years, you'll win League One.
Stop.
After you pull a Sunderland.
I don't need this.
But I do.
I think it's good. I think it's a good place to leave it there.
Oh, yeah. And on an Everton 4-0 loss to Minnesota, that's a great way to end it.
We could.